What's going on? Good day, everybody. Glad to be back. Seems like I've been off about a week or so. Um, Today's video is informative. What is it called? Informational. I'm just giving information in the hopes that you all would, after the video, go on your own and do your own research and get knowledge. Um, One scripture here, Hosea 4, chapter 4, verse 6, says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." And that's from the King James Version. I want to say one version says, no, it's not. The King James Version is, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, um, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee that thou shalt be no priest to me, saying thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children." One translation says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." So my goal is just to spread some knowledge to God's chosen, God's people, Hebrew Israelites, and in the hopes that you won't stop here, but you'll go forward and learn and find out some things. So I'm learning too. So we both are learning. You're learning, I'm learning as well. So we're learning together. And man, I got so many notes. I got like 3.5 pages of just notes and stuff. Like a lot. But keep going. But hey, what it is. And trying to figure out where exactly to start at. So let me see where God leads me to start. Okay, let's start with Emperor Constantine. Let me say his name right. So if you guys don't know, Constantine was was he the third emperor of Rome? And he is credited as the one who made Christianity popular like it is. Like he's credited to have the one that pushed it and made it so popular, right? And this is not a formal thing. I'm not like preaching. This is not like a preaching. This is like a teaching and whatnot. So I'm going to be very informal when I speak. I'm not going to be disrespectful, cursing, whatever. I'm going to be informal because I'm learning as well. I remember back in college, it was undergrad. Now, mind you, I'm of a certain age, but I didn't like go to college right out of high school. I didn't get my bachelor's until I was 40, I believe, and then my master's at 42. So that's my story. But I know in college, I had learned about Constantine, and I always, I don't know if I want is the word I want to use is, I guess he had issue. I always had issue or took issue with how is how is it that the Emperor of Rome, Constantine, is credited as the one who spreaded Christianity. And then I also had issues or questions in my mind. How is it that the Emperor of Rome, now, for those of you who don't know, because I'm not going to insult anyone's intelligence, some people just don't know, some know. During the days of Jesus, Yeshua, let me stop. Let me back up. Because in the earlier video, I made a mistake, like 'cause I'm learning too. Yahweh and Yeshua although the same, but they're different. Yahweh, Yah, that's God, also known as Elohim. That's God. Yahweh. Yeshua, or Yahuwah, as we know today as the Messiah, Jesus. That's a whole nother video for a whole nother day, because the letter J wasn't even invented until way after, but we call him Jesus. And just put this in your back pocket and you can go research it. But just imagine if you go, so let's say your name is Gregory, Greg, right? And you go, I don't know, you go to a foreign land that's not your own, and you tell people your name is Gregory, but nickname Greg, and they decide, well, okay, we're gonna call you, Michael, Mike. And you're like, no, because they may speak a different language, right? But names don't typically change like that, like the whole name. Let me use me for an example. My name is David, but in some Latin cultures, my name is pronounced David. It's still the same name. They just break up the syllables. D-A-V-I-D, David. But to change someone's name completely from Yeshua or Yahuwah to Jesus, but put that in your pocket, though. That's not what today's teaching is on, but put that in your back pocket. Okay. Uh, Emperor Constantine is credited as the one who spreaded Christianity and made it popular and this, that, right? And I always had an issue with that from college up until now, right? Well, I know now, but I didn't know then. And then I had an issue with, how is it that the Romans emperor, if you don't know, the Romans persecuted followers of Christ. After the crucifixion, there was a decree and order to kill all of the disciples. That's another one put in your back pocket. Man, you go back and look and see how all of the disciples died. My God, a whole nother video in itself. How they killed. They didn't just die. How they was murdered. Let's just say what it is. How all the disciples were murdered because they were followers of Christ, followers of Yeshua, the Messiah. And it always, how is it that the people that killed Yeshua, Christ, they killed disciples, and they killed others, how is it that this person is the one that presented the religion as we know it today as Christianity to slaves, to the Negro, to the Hebrew Israelites? That always was a question in my mind. How did that come to be? I didn't understand that, you know. But thank God for knowledge. Thank God for YouTube and um, Bible and various books. And now I know way more knowledge than I did before on how that came to be. So speaking of the Bible, now the King James Bible was at one time, because right now you got so many different versions of the Bible, right? I'm not going to go into the different versions. I don't even know all of them. I know there's a lot, you know. There's a lot of NIV, the Christian Standard, and so forth and so on. But the King James was the most popular, really, real popular Bible, right? Still is, you know. Um, it's I read somewhere that it was or as books sold, whatever, the King James Bible was. So before the King James Bible, the first, well, and some of these words you're gonna have to forgive me. I'll spell it out because I cannot pronounce some of them. But the earliest known manuscript of the Bible is called the Codex, Codex, and then I'm not even gonna try to pronounce this other word, Sinaicus. Well, I'm gonna try Sinatus, Codex Sinatus. That's known to be the earliest known manuscript of the Bible. And if you wanted a copy of that Bible, it's um, I'm gonna go off and just an educated guess that it was destroyed. That it was destroyed. Use your imaginations on why you think it was destroyed, but it was destroyed. Um, so then afterwards, the first or the Bible after that was the Great Bible that was written in 1535, and then the second um, Bible was called Bishop Bible in 1568. And how we got to the King James version is because in the Bishop Bible, and I'm going to be looking down a lot because I got a lot of notes. I got to like revert back to my notes and stuff. But how we got to the King James Bible is because the King of England, King James, he he didn't like certain things in the Bishop Bible. And one thing I'm going to point out that he didn't like was the word of tyrant. Tyrant is nowhere in the King James Bible, but it was all over the Bishop Bibles and Bibles prior. And the reason was because tyrant was often portrayed as cruel or negative form of government, right? And and so the Bishop Bible, which was before the King James, it wasn't hardly used by the population. And so King James gave the translators instructions with the intention to ensure that the new version would conform to him and to his monarch and didn't make him here or because yeah, kings in the Bible and he's a king. So they didn't want to make it look like kings were like bad or whatever, tyrants. But in retrospect, a lot of kings were, in fact, tyrants. A lot of them were in history. A lot of kings, kings and pharaohs and whatnot, tyrants and how they led. So to avoid people, being critical of his monarch and whatnot, he had the translators to take out the word tyrant because it was troubling to him. It gave oppressor and all this, and he didn't want that, so he had them to take that word out. That's how they got to the King James, and they took out a lot of other things as well from the Bible. In particular, a recent post of mine. The Apocrypha, which I did a post on that, and and you can Google is wow. Use Google. I'm not saying don't use Google, but use Google, but use the mind that God gave you. Use your discernment, and also go to YouTube because a lot of stuff in Google is not all the way accurate. I seen in Google it said like the lost Bibles, the lost books of the Bible, that they're in the Apocrypha. Well, they weren't lost. Actually, they was taken out. Um, a lot of the reasons being because they didn't align with the king, or they didn't align, with people, so they took them out. In case you guys did not know, the Bible is basically the history book for the Hebrew Israelites, me, a lot of you all. It's our history, right? So of course, things that don't align with the England, king and this that, they're going to take and pick and move things around and change things around. So in a video I posted, I was like, you guys need to go ahead and cop that before they ban it. Also, this here, the Torah. It's funny because when I used to hear the word the Torah, I was ignorant. I didn't know. I just associated with something other than Christianity, or but and they call it the books of Moses. It's not the books of Moses. It's not the Mosaic law. They say that because Moses went up to Mount Sinai and he came down with the commandments, and therefore they associated Moses' law. But it's not Moses' law. It's the law of God. Moses was the prophet that presented it, and a lot of us, we know the Ten Commandments, but there's a lot of other, there's the commandments, and then there's laws as well that we should abide by. That's another thing too, is um, a lot of the laws were taken out, or we were told, oh, that's the Old Testament, this. But in actuality, we are to keep laws. Um, that was a trick of the enemy to get us to go against the laws that God had for his people. Keep in mind that God's chosen people, God's people, the Hebrews, Israelites, I know you guys heard of like the curse. They were cursed. And the reasoning for a lot of the curses basically because we, his people, didn't keep the law. One law that sticks out in my mind in particular, you had like Hebrew Israelites to settle in a land. And a law that was given was do not procreate with those people, meaning there were other people in the land as well, other people of color, not Hebrew Israelites, not Negroes. And the law was not to mingle or procreate with those people. And what did we do? Oh, she fine. Let me go see about that. Oh, he looked good. And we went and procreated with the people that he did not want to procreate with. So that and other things that we didn't keep as laws is a lot of the reason for the curses, because we didn't keep the laws. Okay. Um, what else? There's so many notes I got here. John Calvin, principal figure in the development of the system of Christian theology. John Calvin. So that's the name you want to look up as well. John Calvin. He probably was, when King James gave his translators instructions, he probably was the chief person, I'm assuming, that orchestrated the whole writing of the King James version of the Bible. But back to Constantine, and so some of you may or may not know that the Christians were first called, or the followers. Oh, one second, a lot of stuff here. Okay, so Acts 11:26 of the New Testament. That's where the disciples were first called Christians. More than likely, the term was used during that time as an insult by the Gentiles of Syria and Antioch and believers. Well, hold on, not in my sentences are going in together. The term Christians was a negative term, just like today, the N word. But what happened? We took, because there's Negro. Negro is not a derogatory term, but the other name, you guys know what I'm talking about, N word. That was a negative term. And same thing with Christian. That was a negative term. I never knew that until recently. I thought, okay, they was first called Christians at Antioch. No. The believers in the New Testament never referred to themselves as Christians. Instead, they used terms like brethren, disciples, and saints, not Christians. But as the years went on, just like present day, they accepted the term and went forth with it. Okay. So I learned so much. I should have seen me when I was learning and watching YouTube and reading and all that. I was like mad and shaking and like, this is crazy. But so trying to figure out how I want to say this or present this. The apostles and Paul, under the name Christianity. Christianity, like I said, it was back then was a derogatory term. But during this time, they were killing disciples, followers of the Messiah, and all that. So, but the people still wanted to practice their religion. So it's like, well, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? Whatever. We're going to do it under Christianity, right? So now there's this word going around Christianity, Christians, and now this word Christianity. And so to the Romans, to them, Christianity was just another to them just another mystical religion that they had never heard of. What is Christianity? Mind you, they nickname Christians as a negative term to the followers of the Messiah, right? So then, under Christianity, the Apostle Paul, they were still upholding the law and the teachings that was given to them, from Moses and from God, right? And so what happened was, goodness, Constantine and the different leaders of the time, they stole it. Doesn't that ring a bell? Like we always say that they stole everything from us, this, that, and the third, and different creations that our people created that they stole from us. Well, they stole that and made it their own. And when I say they, Edom, Esau, Edom, and when they did this, let me just back up one moment so you can get a clear picture. So you have the descendants of Esau and you have the descendants of Jacob. We are descendants of Jacob. The descendants of Esau were sworn enemies of the descendants of Jacob. Okay? Caucasian people are descendants of Esau. We are descendants, the Negro, the Hebrew Israelites, Jacob. Enemies, right? So what the king, well, not the king, excuse me, what the Romans and all of them did, the emperor, they took Christianity because they started and try to make it their own. And when they did this, they incorporated like the Gentiles, way of living and life and laws, what have you. Case in point, a lot of the holidays that we celebrate are what we call pagan holidays, or were holidays that the Gentiles celebrated. Let's I want is my notes here while I talk about Christmas. Okay, right here. Okay, so and also too the Now, okay, when the apostles and Paul, Christianity, and then, it was, kind of spread the gospel and everything. And then, as the years and decades and went on, some people died and other followers, that came after them. Well, in an effort to make Christianity popular, they adopted rituals and event dates from the pagan religion, the Gentile customs and beliefs. They adopted it into the Christianity religion, right? And so in doing this, that's when it became more popular. And the emperors of Rome and whatnot, they took it, like they stole it and just incorporated more Gentiles things and law and pagan holidays. For example, Christmas, 25th. Now, no one knows the actual birth date of Christ, but on the 25th of December, I pronounce this word, but Mithraitic Festival Day. That's a pagan holiday that the Gentiles, the Romans, the Edomites, the Esau descendants celebrated. So it's crazy, right? They incorporated that and then said that, okay, that's Christ. We're going to celebrate Christ's birthday on that day. And that is not his birthday. No one knows his birthday, his actual birthday. But the 25th of December is actually a pagan holiday. And what I just spelled out, Mithraitic Festival. Thus, Christianity, and they did a lot of these things too to strengthen it and to make it a universal, to appeal, likable and universal to like everyone, the Gentiles, the Hebrews, everyone, right? Um, Now let me tell you what happened. The true followers of the Messiah of Yeshua, it was like, nah, this ain't right. What we doing? We can't. This isn't the laws. This isn't what we're supposed to be doing here. This isn't the right way to worship God and follow and whatnot. So they were pulling away from that. Wow, I'm just shaking my head because the stuff I learned, man, this is like, oh my goodness. So what did they do? They started they started killing the Hebrew Israelites. And there's another term that we were also called, but that term also, or that group has also been. And I don't want to say that here because my video may be taken down if I use that term. It's not a negative or derogatory term, and it starts with a J and ends with W, and that's what we are. But so starts with a J and ends with W, and they were killing those people because they would not conform, convert to um the J ends with W people. Everywhere they went, they were persecuted. Um, it was crazy. It was like either convert to Christianity. No, it was either leave our country, convert to Christianity, or be unalive. Right? And you had some people because they didn't want to be unalive. They or some, I don't want to say some people. You had our people. J ends with W. Had an S on that too. They converted because they didn't want to be unalive. And then everywhere, and then the ones that did not convert, they left the cities, right, or the countries, and everywhere they went, it was the same thing. I almost said it. J ends with W. Were expelled from Vienna in 1196, then from Mecklenburg in 1225, and from, so forth. So everywhere they went, they were being persecuted and whatnot. It came to, it came down to this right here. King Emmanuel. The more you know. So King Emmanuel, who was a Christian, keep in mind what Edomites, Edom, Christians. It was like he was saying, oh, y'all can come here. You all are welcome in this country. Come here. Come over here. Da da da. And when they got there, what happened was, if they had children, 14 years and under, they took their children away from them and gave them to Christian Christian brethren or Christian people. Typically, these were former JW that converted because out of fear. But you had the group that wasn't going to convert, what have you. They took their kids away, gave it to them, and then they told them, they either killed them or they made them slaves. They made them slaves. Man, it's so much. But yeah, wow. The 12 tribes were destroyed by Assyria and Babylon, the birth of Rome and the Roman Empire. Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day, holy. That's another thing that was changed. Today, Saturday, is the Sabbath. Today is the seventh day of the week. That's another thing that they changed, and to have us worship on Sunday, the first day. That's not in the laws according to God's will. We're to worship on the Sabbath. Okay? This is the day that we're to worship. And I've never been to divinity school, scholar school. All of this has just been basically on my own learning. But in my mind tells me that a lot of people that's my color that may have been to those schools, they know the truth. And to keep their, how can I say this? Keep their pews in the church full, they don't tell the truth or all of the truth. Bits and pieces. Because they want to keep their membership numbers. So they withhold it. And that's not within God's will. God didn't want that. And out of fear of being persecuted themselves, because the current day, J and with W, would probably came after them. More than likely, he would have came after them, because the current day, J and with W, are very, very, very powerful group of people. Current day. Just a lot. It's so much, so much stuff, man. We've been so tricked and hoodwinked and bamboozled. It's almost like we just have to relearn like everything, bro. Like everything. I mean everything. Everything. So I hope in today's um video that you guys would take something away from this. I'm gonna post other videos, not of me, but of because there was a lot of references, YouTube videos, books, what have you, and with so many to list here, that I'm just gonna post the videos where I got them from, and then you guys can watch them videos too. But I feel like I've been all over the place um with this here. Uh, just so much stuff that I learned. Another thing I want you to put in your pocket: black and white. Today we use those terms when we reference people like me and then people like that's how can I say this? In modern times, we refer to black and white as color. That was not the case back in the day. Black and white were more so status than color. It wasn't color. It wasn't color at all. It was status. There were people, my color, who, if you go back and look at the census, if they haven't destroyed and got rid of them, listed themselves as white because it was a more of a status. Okay, white was a higher class. You know, it wasn't color, and black was a lower class. So there were back in the day slaves this color and this color, and people that were well, we were, the day we say middle class, upper class, lower class. So you had lower class people. So back in the day, lower class people who were this color and this color were all considered to be black because of a status. And upper middle class or rich or whatever people, nobility people, this color and this color was considered white. So that's where white and black originally was. It wasn't what we call it today, or its color. You know, back then it was more so ethnicity and nationality and what tribe you're from. It was all of that. It wasn't this. Um, be like the Thessalonians. When the Thessalonians, the Church of the Thessalonians, they always went back and did their own research and learned. They didn't, take the word of the whoever was preaching or the prophet. And same thing, don't take my word. Don't take my word. Be like the Thessalonians and go back, YouTube videos, the Bible, the Apocrypha, and you can find all this stuff on your own without even me. The videos that I'm going to post later, that brother, I thank God for him. I want God, Elohim, to protect that brother because he's doing the Lord's work. And when you see those videos, you'll understand what I mean because he is like putting it out there. And I just hope his life, he's not unalived or whatever because he's putting out a lot of truth. And some people may come after him because he's doing that. But there's a song that I'm not gonna sing. I'm not gonna sing. But there's a song that Donald Lawrence, I believe, and it's called "Let's Get Back to Eden." Some of you all may be familiar with it. This here is us getting back to Eden. We have to relearn a lot of stuff, unlearn and relearn stuff to get back to where we need to be. And what is it, 400-year curses and all that? All those curses because we wouldn't keep and uphold the law. And when I say the law, I'm not just talking about the Ten Commandments. Go back and do your research. There was other laws, like I said earlier, about not mixing with certain groups of people, and we did. Another gem or something I'll put out there. There's some people, and it's okay, you don't know. So if you don't know, you don't know. I'm here to help you out. I said in a post, all skin folks aren't kin folks. And what I mean by that, all people this color aren't the same people. Okay? I remember back in the day when you would see like a news report, oh, they discovered a tomb in Egypt and the person in the tomb had locks. And we are like, oh, that must have been a black person. Da, 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 da. That person wasn't my people. Because from my understanding in Egypt, the Egyptians enslaved my people and your people. And think about Moses. How was Moses easily accepted into the Egyptian culture and family? If you guys know the story, because we all were the same color. But when people, me included, see stuff like that, we all get excited and happy, but not the same people, guys. Not the same people at all. Another religion that people, our people, Hebrew Israelites, converted to, if they didn't convert to Christianity, the Moors. Now I got to go back and read because that's a abbreviation, but the Moors are basically Muslims. Just like J ends with W, were originally this, so were the Moors this. Today the Moors are like the Arabs, the Arabians, the Arabs, right? And a lot of them are this. Do your research, man. Like I said, Google, I don't know about Google, but YouTube, oh yeah. I heard rumors that they were talking about banning TikTok. I'm sure YouTube probably back behind it because it's too much truth coming out. And they don't want that. That goes against their agenda. Bro, it's so much. And I think in this video here, I just became overwhelmed because it was so much. I could have made several videos just from the knowledge and stuff I received recently. But I love you guys. And like I said, get this book here. Bruh, get this book, bruh. There was a reason why they took these books out of the Bible. They were not lost. They were taken out. Okay? Every Negro, if you are a Negro, you need this book. Now, maybe not this particular edition as far as like one, but this is a good one. But you need the Apocrypha. Trust me. Trust me. I know it's going to be banned at one point. Wow. I'm just astonished, man. The stuff that I'm happy and astonished at the same time because I'm learning and I love this and I'm learning. I'm learning my history. I'm learning our history, who we are. And yeah, let's get back to eating, man. Let's get back to keeping God's commandment and his laws. Okay? Have a great Sabbath, guys. Till next time. Love you.